Hello. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure the audio works. If anybody's out there and is watching, can you let me know if the audio is okay? I think it's okay. Test, test, test. Sounds okay to me. Um, yes. How we doing? Welcome to my sixth or seventh live stream. Um, I haven't done a whole lot in terms of making new videos this week, but I said I'd come on every week regardless. So that's what I'm doing. Um, the idea here is I'd like to get one or two new videos out a week and then support them by going live on Thursdays. But this past week, I wasn't able to make any videos because I got really, really busy with my Fiverr work. And when orders come in, I've got to take care of them. I don't want the clients to be unhappy. I don't want to deliver late. So I spent most of my week, all weekend, completing orders on Fiverr. So no new Camtasia quick tip videos this week, but I have a couple things planned that for this upcoming week, pending how the week goes. Things are still kind of backed up in Fiverr right now. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And hopefully I will come out with at least one video. And I'm aiming for probably Monday, Tuesday. Um, and if there's not that many people watching this live stream, it's probably because I did not come out with a video or two this past week, because what I usually do is I advertise those videos I advertise the live stream in the videos that I make. So if there's no videos going out, then there's no word of this live stream. Now, what I did do was I posted a link to this live stream last night. So if anybody stopped by my channel, or for any of you subscribers, I believe that should have popped up if you go on YouTube. If you've been on YouTube in the last 12 hours or so, you should be notified that I'm going to go live and when, and give you a chance to click the bell icon to request a reminder. And yeah, so but we'll see how it goes. Um, my plan is to be here for at least an hour, answering any questions that you have on Fiverr or Camtasia, video editing tips, anything you want to know, even running a business, a home business uh, from home, running your own online business from home. Anything you want to know about that, I'm here to answer any questions that you have. So feel free to post them in the chat, and I will get to them as they come in. I also have a list of things to go over here to keep me going for the hour in case there isn't that many questions. But we'll just see how it goes. So I see there is one chat message so far. Learn, develop. Hello and welcome to the live chat. Thanks for stopping by. Says, I am watching you from Azerbaijan, I don't know how to say that. Azerbaijan Republic. Um, awesome. That's great. Yeah, that's pretty much the other side of the world from where I am here in Nova Scotia, Canada. So, welcome. That's great to see. Let's see. Pamela Powers, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Says, I got an alert half an hour ago, not before. Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how the notifications for live streams work. I believe what I figured out is that for subscribers, um, if you have notifications turned on, then I thought you were notified an hour before, and then a half hour before, and then when I go live. So I could be wrong. I subscribe to some channels myself, and that's what I've noticed. But maybe there's something to do with the settings. Maybe the 1 hour notification doesn't happen. And then in addition to that, if you go on YouTube and you're searching for something, anytime after I post a link to my live stream, and in this case, I did it more than 12 hours before, so I did it last night. If you're searching YouTube after I post that, and quick tips or Camtasia tips or something is something that you're searching for, then there's a strong possibility that the link to this will pop up in your search results as well, whether you're a subscriber or not. Again, that's my understanding of it. I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, but I believe I'm getting there. It's fun to figure out, anyways. So yeah, I'm glad you got the alert. Anyways, at least one half an hour ago. That's awesome. Hello, Office Matic. Welcome back to the live chat. Thanks for stopping by. Says I have the bell notification on, and I received a notice 30 minutes prior. Okay, we're noticing a trend here. So that's two people saying 30 minutes before you get notified. So that's awesome. Yeah, so maybe I don't have to. See, I'm wondering when I make the videos, the quick tip videos aren't that long as they are. And I'm wondering if whether or not I should put an ad to the live stream in those. That's what I've been doing. But I'm going to say the last 3 or 4 live streams, that's what I've done. But I'm kind of walking a fine line in all the research that I've done. It basically says if you're making a video for YouTube and you want to keep the retention rate up, you gotta get to your main point right away and then start into the tutorial. If a tutorial is what you're doing, and that's what I've been doing so far, is tutorial type videos teaching things. If that's what people are searching for and my video pops up, then generally people don't want to listen to or watch a bunch of fluff. I call it just stuff that doesn't add anything to the tutorial, the thing that they're trying to learn. Um, so along those lines, it would make sense maybe to not advertise something else that they haven't clicked to watch. So jury's still out. I've tried to keep them short, so under a minute. Just get my point across. I'm going to be going live on Thursday. If you want any more help on blah blah blah, and then try to deliver it within a minute or so, and then get right back to the tutorial. So I'm trying to keep the intros short, that stuff short, and then we'll see how it goes. And but if that's not necessary, if the notifications are working a half hour prior, then maybe that's all I need. We'll see. I guess we'll see once I see the results of this live stream and look at the stats versus the last couple that had video ads leading up to it, and see what worked better, and then we'll see. Yeah. So Pamela says just got an email alert that you are live now. Awesome. Yeah, and I think that also is a function of how you have your alerts set up in your YouTube. So you as a subscriber, I think you have the ability to say whether or not you want to be notified. So whether or not you want to be notified on email or by email versus if you download the YouTube app or the YouTube Studio app, you can ask to be notified through those. So I have both the YouTube app and the YouTube Studio app on my iPhone. Um, and maybe that's why I get 2 notifications when somebody's going to go live. So that might be it, actually. Maybe I have one set to 30 minutes and one to 60 minutes because both of those apps notify me. So I'm going to look into that. um, okay, good. So as long as you're getting notified, I'm happy. That's awesome. Learn Develop says, Dear Rob, my question is regarding transitions. I can't find certain transitions because there is no search bar for transitions. I have an idea how I can find certain transitions by typing. Okay, yeah, interesting. In 2021, so the last major release of Camtasia was about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. For Camtasia 2021, they added a whole bunch of new transitions, like a lot. There used to be, so Camtasia 2020 and earlier, I think there weren't many more than 10 or 12. I can't remember exactly how many, but now all of a sudden there are, oh, I'm going to pull up my Camtasia to show you. There's a lot, and you're right. They can be hard to find. Let me just share my screen here. Allow sound, share that screen, share. 1 second here. Okay, yeah, so that's okay. And let me get rid of this this overlay first. Okay, so I'm just going to hide your comment for now, and I'm going to hide me. Sorry, a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, so there's my screen. So if we come up here to transitions, as you can see, you're right. There are a lot. Two, oh, was it 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, can't even count. Dozens and dozens. There's probably over 100 here. Um, and you're right. There's so many. So I've actually never tried to search for one, and I'm not sure that you can. One thing that would help is they are categorized by type. So here, I'm just gonna put myself on screen here so you can at least see me. They are categorized by type. So if you come up here to type in all, you can look at, for example, all the 3D ones, right? And now that list is a little more manageable. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 or so there. Or you can click to look at the blur type of transitions. Okay, so that might help you a little bit. Um, Now, the reason I don't have trouble searching for different transitions is because I don't use many of them. In fact, I only use one. And all of the hundreds and hundreds of video tutorials I've made for clients in Fiverr, um, I really only use the fade. Sorry, not one, two. The fade and the fade through black transitions are the ones that I use. Um, so let me just show you a little trick here as to what I do. Is I use the favorites tab. Okay, so these are listed alphabetically and alphabetically within each type. So if you're having trouble finding them, just know that they are uh, listed alphabetically, and that should help. Now, when you do find the ones that you like, what I strongly recommend you do is when you hover over them, you see this little star up here in the right corner of each one. If you click that, as you notice, I've actually got two of them. The stars are yellow here because I've clicked them. They will be added to your favorites tab, which is right up here. So if I click favorites, you can see there it is there. The fade and the fade through black transitions. Those are my two favorite transitions. Incidentally, these are my favorite tools that I use all the time. And for transitions, there's really only two of them, fade and fade through black. I tend to use fade if I just want something to slowly fade in, like fade out a logo at the intro and then fade in the video tutorial that I'm going to show. And then I'll use fade. So in the beginning and the ending. Also, another trick is if you have, so a lot of times when I'm making a video tutorial, I have to start and stop because maybe my client wants, maybe the video is going to be 3 minutes long and I just can't remember all of the steps that I have to show while I'm recording. And I never record my voice and the video at the same time. I usually do the script and then record my voice, and then that's done. I'll edit it and whatnot, and then I will go and I'll make the video portions, and then I'll lay the video tracks on top of the voice, and I'll make sure everything matches up. But when I'm creating the video portions, what happens is um, I'll get stuck and I'll forget what the next step is. I mean, a lot of times I'll write down notes and I'll follow my notes. And then if I have to look at my notes, I'll try not to move the mouse. And then I'll know that when I come back and continue, that'll be a section of the video that I'll have to cut out. Right. But if there's a time where I leave the mouse on a certain spot and I have to stop, and then when I start up again, the mouse cursor isn't exactly in the same spot, I'll try to get it close, but it may not be exact. And to avoid the customer noticing the little kind of the jump move of the cursor, what I'll do is I'll fade, not through black, just the regular fade one. This one here, I'll fade one scene to the next. And then the cursor ever so, uh, subtly fades away and fades in the new location. And nobody ever notices that. So that's what I use the fade for. Fade through black, I use that one when let's say I'm changing directions. Let's say in my video tutorial, I've explained something and now we want to jump to another page without me showing myself clicking to go to that other page. Maybe it's several clicks away and I just want to jump to it quickly. I'll usually fade that through black and then back into the new location. Um, that's what I do. Those are my tricks. So those are really the only transitions. I know this is a long-winded answer. Those are really the only transitions I use. And since you're right, I noticed when they came out with Camtasia 2021, there were so many transitions here, especially if you have all selected. So many to choose from. It was at first, and I wasn't using the favorites tab back then. This is only a year ago. It's only been within the last year that I've started using the favorites tab, and it saved me so much time. But I memorized, okay, I'd have to go down. I mean, it's alphabetical, so I knew F for fade. I had to go down, but it took a while to find. So, anyways, favorites. Do yourself a favor and start using favorites once you find the transitions you like. So, and I guess the only other suggestion I'd make as far as transitions go really depends on what you're doing. So in my case, making video tutorials typically for companies who want to appear more or less professional, they don't want a whole lot of gimmicky things going on in their video tutorials. They want things fairly simple. So generally speaking, they don't want a complicated transition to kind of take away from the actual tutorial um, that that the video is trying to get across to their clients, if that makes sense. So, anyways, I hope that helped. Let me see. Okay, a bunch of questions came in, and let me try to get through these quickly. Where was I? Uh, Regarding transitions. Okay, next we got Pamela Power says Studio app. Okay, so the YouTube Studio app is for those who post videos to YouTube. Um, so on your computer, you can get to your studio, or is it called Studio? Or yeah, it is, or Studio Creator or something. Um, Let me just see here. If I go back just to see what it's officially called on the main, okay, Studio Dashboard. So from your YouTube channel, you can click to go to your studio dashboard. That's where you go to upload videos. It's where you go to check your analytics, how many subscribers you have, retention rates, and all those sorts of things. There is a separate app that YouTube has made. It's available on the iPhone, I know for sure. I'm sure it's available on Android. I just don't have an Android. Yeah, if you post videos and you want to track your stats and your analytics, download the YouTube Studio app and sign into that, and you'll be able to get all that stuff from your phone as well as from your computer. So hopefully that helps. I am Samir. Welcome, Samir. Thank you for your question as well. I hope that helped. My long-winded answer on transitions. 160. Is that how many transitions there are? That's a lot. That sounds about right. It would be helpful if there was a way to search through them. Like you say, there didn't appear to be a way to search them. So that would be another quick way to find them for sure. Adam, welcome to the live stream. Welcome back. I believe you were here last week. Thanks for stopping by. One of the things I do is I create favorites of transitions. So for ones you like, they are saved in your favorites tab. Great idea. I do that too. And I should have looked up and saw your comment as I was going through all that, but absolutely. Samir says fade in. Okay, talking about the transitions. So fade in. So I call it fade in, but the transition is just called fade. So let me just here, you could probably see it this way. Let me just show you really quick. I will bring down a shape onto my timeline. Okay, and you can resize the shape, whatever you want. Let's say I've got this on the timeline. And now if I want to fade, when I said fade in, I just mean when I put a fade, so this here, if I drag this to the beginning of the clip, that is what I called fade in. It's fading into the video. Okay. If I drop this fade to the end of it, then it fades out. Okay. So it's the same transition, but you can do a fade in or a fade out. And that's just depending on where you put it, either on your annotation, if that's what you're fading, or your complete scene, if you're fading from one scene to another. If it's the first scene of a video, I just call it fade. So I typically fade a logo in at the very beginning. I fade it in and I scale it in, meaning I usually start it very small and then scale it up. Um, and I use the fade to fade it in, and then a scale. I do that with the animations. So, sorry if that was confusing when I said fade in, but I just meant fade at the beginning of an annotation or a scene. Adam, I'm glad I'm using a best practice. Thanks, Rob. Not sure. Yeah, I think it's safe to say it's a best practice, but I don't profess to be an expert in any of this. It's just uh, if there's something I don't know how to do in Camtasia, I go to YouTube, and there are other people smarter than I am out there that have taught me a few things, even over the last few weeks. But yeah, so I just what I'm doing is as I learn things, I create videos on them that if it's something that I uh, uh, discovered that, oh my lord, that really helps me, then I think I can safely assume it would help the majority of the people who are subscribed to my channel and watch my videos. So I'll make a video about it. So I'll basically repackage it. I'm not copying a video, but if I learn how to do something, then I think about, okay, now let's make a video on this. What's the best way to deliver this? And there's been times where I've watched through a 35, 40-minute video to learn how to do something that I could explain in 10 minutes once I've learned how to do it. Um, so yeah, I would just repackage that into a smaller video, as I've been making these quick tip videos for the last little while. So, anyways, that's been my train of thought over the last month or two: is create quick videos, try to answer tutorial questions as quickly as I can, so you can search for what you're looking for, you find it with one of my videos, hopefully, and then you learn how to do what you needed to do, and you move along. So that's been the practice. Power Apps tutorial. Hey, good to see you, Rob. Good to see you too. Uh, Dennis. I think I got your name wrong last week, if memory serves. Sorry about that. Oh, and yes, you mentioned you went live for the first time last week, I believe you said. So congrats on that. That's great. I don't know. For me, when I went live the first time, so about 2 months ago, Darren, I just saw it pop up. Darren, I think I called you Dennis. Let's hope I don't call you Dennis every week. I am horrible with names. But I totally understand. You don't have your name in your handle, but that makes sense because Power Apps is what you do. Power Apps tutorials. So sorry about that, Darren. But yeah, when I went live for the first time, I was super nervous. I had a bunch of notes written down. See, when I make videos that I record and then I edit them, and I cut out all the parts that the ums and the ahs. As you notice, I do a lot of that when I'm just speaking naturally. Um, there you go. So I edit my videos heavily before I put them on YouTube, again, to try to keep them as short and to the point as possible. But live streaming is a totally different animal. It's yeah, once you go live, I mean, it feels like you're potentially talking to millions of people. I mean, we're not. I think my first live stream, I might have had 5 people at the most, maybe 3. I don't remember, but not that many people. However, it does get logged by YouTube when the live stream is over, and then it gets posted to YouTube as a replay video. So it becomes a video that you've posted to YouTube that you didn't have to edit. You just had to talk for, mine was, I think my first one was over an hour. So, I live streamed for over an hour, and then all of a sudden I've got over an hour long video that's now on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I was nervous. I was not sure what to say. I didn't know if I would have enough to say. It's just hitting that go live button, or broadcast button. I forget what in Streamyard. Yes, go live. Um, it was hard to do when it came time to do it. So I'm interested to know, how is it for you? Did you find it hard, or maybe that's something you do a lot anyways? Maybe you do Zoom meetings and whatnot in your regular um, uh, workflow. Whereas I don't, or I haven't yet. One or two, but for the most part, I don't do a lot of face-to-face Zoom type meetings with my clients. It's mostly all through the Fiverr messaging system on the website and on the Fiverr app. So, um, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Here we go. Maynard Mariquin, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for stopping in. Um, Rob, can you teach us how to use motion backgrounds? Sure, I can. Uh, yes. So how to use them. So I'm going to assume that you either have a motion background or you have an account with a service where you can download a motion background, or maybe you use the Camtasia assets and there are motion backgrounds available through through there as well. But let me really quick, what do I want to do here? Uh, I want to come here. You can see I was searching for things. I want to come to Storyblocks. So here is my Storyblocks account, and the last thing I searched for was motivating music. So now let's go find the motion background. I'll do this live. So I'll click on video. Oh, am I not logged in? Let me just log in here. Sign in. Okay, I am logged into my Storyblocks account. So I've got video selected, motion background. Search for that. Okay, and here, we have a whole bunch of them. Okay, so now here's one that's 20 seconds long. So if I click on that, actually I don't have to, I can click on it to get more information on it first of all. Okay. And then I can select to download it. So I'm signed up for their annual plan, so I can have unlimited downloads for any of the assets they have in here, whether it's videos or sound effects or music for background music, or video clips for B-roll, any of that stuff. So let's just say I'm just so I can do this quickly. Select HD. I'm going to go MP4. Um, so select the version that you want. Click download. Okay, there we go. It's downloaded. So now let me go back to Camtasia. Let me just delete this. Let me make Camtasia bigger so you can see. Oh no, that doesn't work. Just want to leave your comment up there. So this is probably the best view. So now I've downloaded the motion background. Now I want to bring it into Camtasia. So what I usually do, because I have a second monitor set up, is I'll go over to that second monitor where I have File Manager open. I'm on a PC. I believe it's called Finder. If you're on a Mac, you would have that app open. I locate in my downloads folder the file I just downloaded. Um, Now, if I'm creating a project, I would first copy or move that file into my project file that I would have, sorry, my project folder that I would have created first on my hard drive. Um, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to quickly drag this right over into Camtasia. So I can click and drag. See, I'm dragging it right over here. You didn't see the first part of that because that's on another monitor. So there it is. I brought it right into Camtasia. So you can either click and drag it in if you have another monitor, or if you have uh, Finder or File Manager opened on the other side of your monitor, or you would just come here to this import media and you click there and you would import media and you bring it in that way. Okay. So once you have it in here, it's down here on the timeline. You can either drag it in right to the timeline or right to the canvas. Either way works. It shows up in both places. So that's it. There's the motion background and it's in. Now, you also want to go up and make sure your project settings are correct. Since I didn't have anything else in this project. That motion background was the first thing I brought in. So because of that, the first thing that you bring in basically sets your canvas dimensions. So since I downloaded a 1920 by 1080p file, that's the size that the project was changed to. But if I wanted let's say I only wanted to make a 720p video, I would come here to change that. Okay, now this is too big, so I just have to size it down. You can do it a number of different ways. This is usually what I do. Okay, now it's 720p. Um, if you're making a 4K video, then you go the other way, right? And then you know. Now, I don't recommend using a 1080p file on a 4K video. If you're making a 4K video, you want everything in your video to be 4K, if that makes sense. So if you were to come back to Storyblocks here, if you're making a 4K video, you'd want to download this one. Um, well, MOV is more of an Apple. So I always download the MP4. So I would click this and download that one. It's about twice as large file size. But yeah, so that's how you bring a motion video into Camtasia, and then you would keep it on the lower track, okay? And then anything else you record, let's say you record another video. Um, so let me just, I will quickly bring in a video. Um, let's see what I have, what I might have here just hanging out on my desktop. Uh, no, I don't have a video there. Let me go into my video editing. Okay, so, all right, here is the last video that I made um, for YouTube. So I'm going to click and drag that in. I'm just going to drag it in here while it loads. So it was one of my Camtasia quick tip videos. It was also a 1080p video. Okay. So what I can do is I can drag this down on the timeline. Oh yes, I changed this to 4K, didn't I? Let's go back to 1080p right there. Okay. Now here's the video I just imported. Um, Here is the motion background behind it. Oh, wait, now. I'm making kind of a mess here, trying to do too many things at once. Let's hide that. Let's go back to our motion background and let's resize it so it fits on the 1080p screen. Okay. Come up here and click fit. Okay. So now let's unhide the video. So now we have this Camtasia video on top of a motion background. If you ever want to transition away from this and you want a motion background to be playing in the background, that's all you do. You put the motion background below here. Okay. Now, this will allow you to do things like, let's say I want this main video. Whoops, sorry. It's highlighted here. I want this main video to be smaller and I want the motion background to be around the borders. I can just do this, make this smaller. Okay. Now let me play this and see what it looks like. Okay, got a motion background behind the video, just like that. Okay. Now another thing, as you can see, this motion background ends right here. It's only about 20 seconds long. So once you get to that point, it disappears. All you have to do is highlight it, go Control C to copy it, put your playhead over somewhere after it, and Control V to paste. Okay, now you have another copy of it, and you can just bring it back to here. Now, one thing, usually with these motion backgrounds, they're set up to loop perfectly. That is, when you come to the end of one, you should be able to go right into the beginning of the same one and not see a glitch in the motion background. Let's just see if that's the case with this one. Okay. Perfect. That's nice and smooth. So again, so this motion background was designed correctly to allow for looping like this. If it wasn't, then you'd have to kind of play around with the end of this and try to make it match up otherwise. Or you can do what I was talking about before. You can add a fade effect between the two to help it move. So let me show you what I mean there. So let's hide this one again. Um, let's say I'm going to shorten this here. Wait, I'll show you what I'm doing. Let's press S here to split this one, and I'm going to delete this beginning, and I'm going to bring it back here. So now you're going to notice that it's not a smooth transition from one to the other. See that? So if you ever wind up in a situation like that where your motion background doesn't loop naturally, then what you can do is just come back up to your transitions. Again, I'm already on the right place, but if you have it in favorites, grab the fade and fade one into the other, and then that should help. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay, it does glitch a little bit, but it's a little more smooth, okay, than otherwise. If that makes sense, or you could always fade to black. We try that one, drag that one down. Yeah, I don't like that one as much. You want it to be seamless so that people don't notice. So Anyways, I hope that helped with motion backgrounds. Uh, where are we now? Learn Develop says, thank you very much for your answer. My second question is regarding color LUT. I can't understand how to use it. Okay. This is not something I've done before. So LUTs, for those of you who don't know, is supposedly an easy way to color correct your videos. Okay. And I believe this was something new added to Camtasia a year ago with the current version, 2021. Um, but I have never used it. I have been doing some research on Premiere Pro and how to use that, and color grading and using LUTs in that. And it can be complicated. Color correcting and color grading and whatnot can be very complicated. And Camtasia's tools are, I'm going to say, or they were not as good as the tools you get in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro or even DaVinci Resolve. Or they haven't been. I do know that Camtasia's abilities to color correct and color grade are better now, and you are able to import LUTs. I've just never done it. So to answer, I don't think I can give you a very good answer, but actually that's probably a good idea for me to write that down. Let's research that some more and then come back with a video tutorial on how to use them. But the long and the short of it is you can, so if you're making a video that's comprised of a bunch of different segments and you're putting them all together, and if you want each one of them to have the same look and feel, like, so maybe, oh, I don't know, if you look at some cinematic movies, for instance, some might have a certain look and a feel. So some might have more greens and oranges in the lighting, or some, if it's like a snowy scene, they might be a lot of, grays and blues to make it seem more cold, things like that. You can take video, or with your phone or with a good camera or whatever, import that into your video editor. And then if you've already designed the color grading and the color corrections that you want to apply to that, and you don't want to have to keep doing it over and over and over again for every video you bring in, you can save all of that as a preset called a LUT. Okay. And then that's saved for you to then apply to any other videos you ever bring in. Okay. So you can save LUTs, give them names. You can have several. A lot of a lot of photography experts and videographers will sell their own LUTs as an extra service that they offer. So if you go on YouTube and you're learning how to use your camera, um, you may run into people who are really good at using their cameras and making commercials and commercial grade videos. And more often than not, if you really like the look of their videos, they may offer their LUTs, and usually they'll come in packages of several, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 different LUTs, different looks that they've created that you can buy from them, usually for, oh, I don't know, anywhere from $5 to $20. And then you can apply them to your videos, and there you go. So um, that's all I know about LUTs. I've never used them myself. There's really no need, or there hasn't been a need for me to do that with making video tutorials. But as I want to move more into videography and getting good at that sort of thing, I do need to learn more about that. So, anyways, that's what I know about that. I hope that helped. Um, Power apps. Did you already cover J and L cuts? No, I did not. I'm sorry. Yes, you mentioned this in a video. Sorry, in a comment of one of my videos this past week. I have not made a J and L cut video yet, but bottom line, what they are, for those of you who don't know, they're types of jump cuts. And what a jump cut is if you're recording yourself making, so maybe you're making a video, so you're recording yourself and you make mistakes. Like you say or ah, or you forget what you're going to say and you look at your notes and then you come back up and then you say what you needed to say the whole time you're recording. So when you bring that video into Camtasia, you're going to want to cut out the parts that you don't want, the mistakes, the dead space where you were looking at your notes. And even if you're just a slow talker and you have lots of space between your words, you may want to cut a lot of those out. Okay. I do that a lot with my pre-made, with my edited videos. So when you cut those out and then you squish your, actually, let me put myself, I keep forgetting to do this. I'll put myself back on full screen. When you cut those dead spots out and you move the two clips together, that's called a jump cut. It jumps from one to the other with really no break in the audio, which is what you want. You want the audio to remain consistent. Um, J cuts and L cuts are when you don't cut the audio and video at the exact same time. Okay. So when I'm editing video, I always capture my audio separately. Okay. So when I'm recording myself, I am recording into Camtasia, okay? And I record my webcam, which is actually a DSLR camera going through my A10 Mini, but that's another story. It's a good camera that my computer recognizes as a webcam. So you record your webcam. It will also record your audio sometimes through your camera's mic, if your camera has a mic. Um, I have this microphone set up, so Camtasia will pick that up. Whoops. Um, but in addition, I open up Adobe Audition, which is a sound editor, sound recorder that comes with Adobe, and I also record in that as well. So that just gives me another track of my recording from this microphone, not from my camera's microphone is not near as good as this one. Um, so this is the audio I want. So I then in Adobe Audition will edit my audio. I don't do the jump cuts right away because if I added jump cuts to my audio in Audition without also doing it to my video, everything would be out of sync. Okay. So you need to keep your audio and your video in sync. And to do that, what I do is I will first edit the audio in terms of the sound. So I won't cut anything out. I'll leave it the same length of time it is, but I'll make changes to noise gate and compression and the equalizing, the low filter, the high pass, all this stuff. I'm not an audio engineer either, but again, I know just enough to be dangerous. to I've come up with an editing routine in Audition to get my voice sounding to where I think it sounds better than without it. Okay, so just so you know, oh no, that's not going to work right now because I'm doing this. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so I will then save my audio in Adobe Audition. Camtasia will have saved my camera and audio and screen capturing if I was doing that in Camtasia. So I bring my audio file into Camtasia. I then line it up with the audio file by using the waveforms. I'll make sure the audio syncs up with the audio that Camtasia captured. And then I delete the Camtasia captured audio and I keep the good edited audio. Okay. That's how I bring the audio in, and it is separate on a separate track from the video. So when I do a jump cut, I have to highlight both, press S to split them, highlight them both at the other end, press S, delete what's in the middle, and then squeeze it together. That's how I keep the audio and the video together. J and L cuts, Darren, are so it's when you don't split the audio and video at the exact same time. So typically what you're going to do, and I haven't done this a lot. I've done it a little. I think in my last video I might have done it actually. Um, the audio, you pretty much want that to be what dictates what you do, if that makes sense. So where you're going to do your audio cuts, um, if you're going to make a J or an L cut, my suggestion would be to make just a regular cut first, squeeze the two pieces together, and then so your audio should be, let me see now, your audio is on the bottom track typically, and your video is on the top track. So then what you would do is you would go to your video track and just adjust where the split is. If you want it to be an L cut, that's when you bring the video cut behind the audio cut. And so what ends up happening is the video is switched to the next clip while the audio of the original clip still plays for a second or so. Okay. That would be an L cut. And a J cut is just the opposite. So if you want the audio to switch, you're already starting to say your next sentence, but maybe the video kept going for a bit to maybe catch you laughing at what you just said or something like that. If you want that kind of effect, um, those are J and L cuts. I do plan on making a video on how to make those, but I feel like I need to get a little better at making them myself, anyways. First, before I do that, um, and some of the things I think, just thinking about it, what you'd want to think about is doing things like that. Like when you say something, don't immediately look down like you're gonna like you have to go to your notes. Like either keep looking at the camera or laugh at something you just said or whatever you want to do to advance your story at that time. Uh, Basically, record with the intention that you're going to do an L or a J cut, if that makes sense. So once I get a little better at doing that, I plan on doing a full tutorial on how to do that. But I hope that helps explain it a little bit. um, yes, Darren used StreamYard, had a great time. Awesome. Glad you liked it. I use StreamYard too. That's what I'm using here. Um, it's not necessary to live stream, but I think it makes it a whole lot easier. It is what allows me to post these comments as comments come in. Because so I'm live streaming through YouTube. Let me just go bring this back up. I'm live streaming through YouTube, but YouTube is connected to is this the right one? No, live. YouTube is connected to my StreamYard. So once you link them together, you launch your live stream from StreamYard and it automatically streams through YouTube. And that's the way I've done it. Um, okay, so let me see here. Yeah, so StreamYard, it allows you to put these comments on. It also allows you to stream to multiple platforms. If you want to stream to Facebook as well, or Twitch, or I believe Amazon. There's several places you can stream to, all in one go if you wanted to. If you had accounts at all those places, right? I'm only streaming to YouTube right now. Uh, in the future, I do plan on kind of expanding my reach, but right now my focus is on YouTube. But what's so cool about it is with StreamYard, especially if you have a lower upload bandwidth of your internet connection, which I do. Mine is only 10 megabits per second, so I was a little concerned if my live streams would work, but they do. Um, with 10 megabits per second, I'm able to live stream basically up to StreamYard at 1080p. And then StreamYard handles sending it to YouTube or sending it to Facebook or Twitch or wherever you're live streaming to. Okay. If I were to use something like OBS, which is a free streaming platform that is very popular, especially among the gaming industry on Twitch, if I were to use OBS, I believe if you wanted to stream to more than one platform, I think you would have to basically upload to both of them. So stream up to YouTube and stream up to Facebook. And so now you're sending two copies of your live stream up through your internet connection. And if your upload speed isn't good enough to handle that, and I don't think mine would be, then you could run into delays or glitchy problems or buffering or things like that. So so far, I think I've been fairly successful in avoiding those sorts of things because I'm only streaming to one place anyways. But so that's not the reason I'm using StreamYard. I like the functionality of clicking to view people's chats and adding overlays and things like that. And I think StreamYard is great. Um, Office Mystic says, I have to silence my breathing. I have bad allergies and it results in too much mouth breathing. Yes. So I'm assuming you're talking about are you talking about live streaming or are you talking about making videos that you will then edit? Because there's two ways to handle that. You can either jump cut out your breaths between sentences, if that's what you're talking about. And you can do that in the editing phase. Or there's something called a noise gate you can use that will perhaps help you eliminate that on the go. Now, I use something called a DBX 286S, it's called. I don't know why the name is so long, but it's a piece of hardware. and I can just show it to you here. Yeah, you can see here, it's this thing here, this long thing here that's designed to go in a rack. But I just have it on a couple of these speaker foams. But that uh, unit will change my voice on the fly. Okay. And it's doing that now. As you can see, the lights light up as I speak. That's how I know that the audio is going through that. And it's going through this microphone into that, and then out into StreamYard, to YouTube, and to you guys is basically the way it works. Oh, I forgot one thing. This Focusrite. Move my drink here. This Focusrite right here. This thing, that's the audio interface. So the microphone goes into the DBX, goes into the audio interface. That then connects to the computer via USB, which StreamYard recognizes and sends the signal to YouTube. Okay, so this DBX will alter your voice on the go. So as I'm speaking, it's altering my voice before it gets captured by, right now, StreamYard, or if I was recording a video, it would alter my voice before it gets captured by Camtasia or Audition, whatever I'm recording into. But I only use it for live streams because I would rather enhance and edit my voice after I've recorded it if I'm making it for a video that I'm editing, and I do that in Adobe Audition. Okay, so that's two different ways you can edit your voice. Do it afterwards with Audition, or do it as you speak through a DBX like this. The only problem with doing it through this is if you've bumped into a knob or whatever and changed something and it doesn't sound great when you listen to it back, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to undo that, because there's nothing to undo to go back to, because you've altered your voice before your computer recorded it, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm only using it now in live. Let me just I'm going to press the bypass button on it, and when I press this, you'll hear the difference that it's making. So right now, this is altering my voice. I'll press the button. Now it's not altering my voice. I can't tell the difference because I have my speakers off, but perhaps you can tell if there's a change in the voice, if it sounds different. I'm totally bypassing all of the equalizing and noise gate things that I have turned on in this. There's not a lot of noise in this room anyways, because my computer is under my desk. I'm using a shotgun microphone, which really, it doesn't pick up around here. It only picks up in a single direction that it's pointing to. So if I were to talk over here, you won't hear me very well in a shotgun mic. I have to have it right in front of my voice. So yeah, there may not be a whole lot of noise that it has to cancel out, but I'm sure it's affecting my the equalizing of the voice. So the low frequencies and the high frequencies, if I recall, I boosted them both a bit. And that is what it sounds like going through that. So yeah, I think that was another long-winded answer to a relatively short question. Oh, it was about breathing. Have to silence my breathing. So yeah, you can use a piece of hardware like the DBX 286S piece of hardware to apply a noise gate. A noise gate, what that does is it won't allow your computer to hear anything below certain frequencies or above certain frequencies. You can cut certain frequencies out so that they are not recorded. So that may help eliminate your breathing, unless your noise breathing occurs while you're speaking. It might be more difficult to do that, but I mean, there's a range. You can apply it, and then you can adjust how much it's being applied, and it's pretty cool. There's tutorials online with how to set this up, and I had to do that because, again, I'm not an audio expert. But I believe the last time I checked, it made my voice sound better. I've made the mistake, though, of leaving that on when I'm recording a video that I'm going to edit for YouTube. And then when I brought up Adobe Audition to do the editing and I listened to it, it's like, oh, this has already been changed. And it changes it in a slightly different way than my presets in Adobe Audition change it. So, but if I then add my presets in Adobe Audition on top of the already changed audio, it's kind of over the top. It's way too much kind of crackling in the higher frequencies, and it just doesn't sound good. So it's one or the other. edit it with this on the fly or edit it in post using a software like Adobe Audition, or Audacity is another popular one. I believe that one's free. Um, I've not used it though. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, eliminating breathing from videos is a good idea if you have a lot of breaths and you want to kind of tighten up your dialogue. Um, Great thing to do. Moving right along. Next question. Adam S. has a Fiverr question. I'm finding it challenging to get the clicks versus views on my gigs. Yes, that is a problem. It's always hard when you're starting with anything really. Same with this YouTube. I've been making YouTube videos for over a year now, and I'm not at 1,000 subscribers yet. Quickly approaching it, but and I do notice that it's starting to accelerate. With Fiverr, when um, I started in late summer of 2018, and it was a couple months before I got my first order. It was a while, and it took me a while um, to figure things out. Um, and even once you have things figured out, it will take it takes time. See, there's a couple things at play here. You need to have a certain number of um, you need to start getting ratings. Okay, you need people to rate your work, and you're not going to get people rating your work unless you're doing work for people, obviously. So how do you get that first order? It's like YouTube. How do you get those first subscribers? How do you get found initially? Um, there's a couple things you can do. Number one is if you have a good social media following somewhere else, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere where that you can interact with an audience that you already have. Say, maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's Instagram, YouTube. I'm drawing a blank here. Twitter, anything, TikTok, even. Any of those things. If you have a website, if you have existing clients, and you have a website and a mailing list. So if you can access any of those things, in other words, if you're not starting from complete scratch or zero, then what I would suggest is to let people know what you're doing and what you're offering. You know, sure, you're not going to get a ton of business in all likelihood from just friends and family if you're just going through the Facebook personal Facebook account approach. But it helps. The more people see that and comment on it in Facebook, the more other people may see it and stumble across it. Right? It's advertising. It's organic advertising that you're not paying for. Um, you could pay for advertising, so you could open up a Facebook ad account or even a YouTube ad account through Google and start paying for it. Like make yourself a another version of your gig video, and um, so on Fiverr, I'm assuming you have a gig video. If you don't, that's tip number two for Fiverr. You need a gig video, and I would, depending on what you do, I'd strongly suggest put yourself in the video if you can, because I think that really helps. I believe that's what helped me in the beginning. So, yep, advertise through other social media outlets if you can, if you have a following. You could try paid advertising. I never did. I didn't need to. I also didn't go through social media to promote it. I don't believe. I might have told a few people here and there, but really, I just kind of started it on the side while I was still doing what I was doing before, um, and eventually it grew. So once you get a foothold in, um, I mean, there's so many other things I could talk about before how to get that first job. And actually, let me just pop this one thing back up on screen here as we're talking about Fiverr. I should put that up because I have written a book about Fiverr and how to. But I think this is more like the next step. This is a step to earning basically a full-time income on Fiverr. It does talk about how to start, okay, but that's not its focus. It's more of an overall. Yes, this is how you start. This is how you continue, and this is how you manage it going forward, and this is how you, keep it going. So, but if anybody out there watching this is interested in that book, just let me know. Um, Down there, send me an email. I don't yet have a form set up that you can fill out to get the book automatically. But if you email me and ask for it, I will send it to you for free. No charge for that. Um, so yeah, getting started with Fiverr is difficult, and if you don't have a social media following and you don't have people you can let know or an existing client base, then you have to kind of constantly research, do keyword research on Fiverr, try to find out. Start with what your gig is about, what you want to offer, okay, and search on Fiverr. So pretend you're looking for the exact service that you provide and go to Fiverr, not logged in. So open an incognito window. You're not logged into Fiverr. You're looking for something and see what keywords pop up, see what people are searching for. And then check out some of the gigs that do pop up of your competitors and see what their gigs look like, see what they're charging. Um, Another huge tip that I have for Fiverr is when you're first starting, especially if you're starting green like this and you don't have a foothold to help you, you need, I'm of the belief, you need to offer it for a very low price. Okay. Um, among the lowest of the people who are getting orders. Let me put it that way. So when in your Fiverr research, find people who are being successful offering what you want to offer, and then go research their gigs, find out what they're charging. What I did is I opened up a Google Sheets spreadsheet and I wrote down usernames, Fiverr usernames of people who said, yeah, they're doing that. I could do that. They're not charging very much, but okay, maybe that's where I have to start. And you start at the bottom in terms of pricing, and deliver within 24 hours if you can. Like have your deliveries as fast as they can be, as fast as you can do them. I mean, if you're designing a website, maybe you can't do that in a day unless it's just a template you're installing for somebody. But offer what you can offer for as low as you can, deliver as fast as you can, and then once you get that order, stop everything else and do as good a job as you can for that person. Go over the top. Maybe you're offering it for 50 bucks if it's a web design, or maybe it's $5, which is the lowest you can offer something for, which is where the name came from, Fiverr. Um, Even if you're just doing something simple for $5 and you could probably do it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, take a half hour, take an hour, make sure that you've done it uh, the best you can. Spend some time on your message, your delivering message. When you send the message out to the person, it says, here's your delivery. Be cordial, be nice to them, be smiles, offer to do revisions for free. If there's anything they don't like, tell them you'll fix it up ASAP. Um, the better you can make their experience, the better the chances that you will get a 5-star rating from them. And that is the goal. In the beginning, that is 100% the goal. It's not to make money. It's to get the 5-star ratings. Once you have 5-star ratings, that will not only help you in the Fiverr algorithm, but then people will start to notice when they're searching for things that, oh, 5-star rating. Oh, he's got a 5-star rating. If it's just one, well, that might not attract too many people, but next thing you know, you do this for a certain amount of time. Next thing you know, you may have 5, 10, 20, 50, whatever, 5-star ratings. If you get the odd 4-star, it's the average that it looks at, right? That it'll post for people to view. If you can keep that up to 5 stars and people see that you're constantly delivering and you're constantly getting positive feedback, it will snowball. And that's what happened to me. It snowballed. I think I brought in $70 or $80, I think, my first month. And then my second month was 0. But then the third was, I think, another $50. And then the fourth was 700. And then my fifth was, I think it was over $3,000. That's how it snowballed. It was really quick. So if you can go, you may have to struggle through a month or two of low sales before that happens. But I hope that helps. That's actually on my to-do list, is a 2 Fiverr videos that I want to make. One is a beginner's tutorial to get people started, and the other one is how to earn a full-time income on Fiverr, which kind of parallels the book that I have, but there's some more things that I want to add to that. And I think video is a whole lot better than reading anyways. And you guys probably do too, since you're here watching a video. So Adam, again, long-winded answer. I hope that helped. Um, Adam says, do you have some insight on what you found works best for drawing people in to click on your gig page? I think of it as a funnel: views, clicks, orders, which means I need more clicks. Yes. Great way to think about it, as a funnel, for sure. In addition to views, clicks, and orders, you want to increase the percentage. So here's the way to think about it. To increase the percentage of people that click once they are shown your gig. So when you pop up in search, that's a view. Okay. A certain number of people are going to click on that, and that's a click. If you want to increase the percentage of people that click on that, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, this just popped into my head, so I'm not going by any list or anything, but these are the types of things that I think I addressed them in my book, but also I want to cover in a video. Number one, be online as much as you can, even just having that tab open, even if you're on another tab doing something else in Chrome. Have your Fiverr account open, and then that green dot will show that you're online. That, for me, if I'm looking for a service on Fiverr, I will quite often take notice of when I'm searching for something, I may bypass somebody if they're not online. So the more you're online, the better. It shows that green dot that you're there. Number two, gig video. Make sure you have a gig video. Too many people out there are making Fiverr gigs, and they're not putting a video to them. Okay. Do a quick search on Fiverr, and you'll notice that some have videos and some don't. The ones that do have videos will have a little playhead in the corner, and they are more apt to get clicked on to view the video. Okay. Especially if, and this is point number 3, your face is in the video. Okay. And not only just in the video, but in the thumbnail for that video. Because when you add a Fiverr gig video, as you can with YouTube, when you're uploading a YouTube video, you can also change the thumbnail. Okay. When you first upload a video to Fiverr, to your gig, a gig video, and you can only upload one for each gig. When you first upload it, Fiverr will automatically choose your thumbnail. And I might be wrong about this, but I think it might even be the very first frame. No, that can't be. That's Instagram. Anyways, whatever it chooses right off the bat, you can immediately change. Like, once the video is up, you can go in and edit it and then choose a new thumbnail location. Okay. Or a new thumbnail. And you do it differently than you do it in YouTube. In YouTube, you have to create a thumbnail. YouTube will give you 3 choices, 3 snapshots of different places within your video. If you want to choose one of those as your thumbnail, I advise against that. I completely suggest that you make your own thumbnail in a software program like Photoshop or Canva or something like that. But in Fiverr, you don't have to do that. In Fiverr, you just move the playhead when you're editing your video, move the playhead to the position where you want it to find your thumbnail. Okay. And it might just be an active part of your video, or what I do is I will create an image in Canva. Okay. And then I import it into Camtasia when I'm making my gig video, and I'll attach it either at the very first frame or first half a second, or the last half a second of the video. And then it's in there for when I render the video out, I upload it to Fiverr, to my gig video. Then that little portion is in there that I can select it as my thumbnail. So highly recommend, have a gig video. Make sure to put some thought into how it shows in search, and that means your thumbnail of the gig video. So maybe you want a couple of logos there, a couple of words, whatever, but your face, I strongly suggest that, especially if you're offering something more personable, like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I offer subtitles and making video tutorials. And although you don't need my face for that, I never put my face in my clients' videos. I believe it does help sell my service because I become more personable. And in fact, there's some debate whether or not, like, the first gig video I ever made was horrible in my eyes. It was, but it was up there for 2 years. bringing me in a lot of business. But I had no jump cuts in it. It was filmed on my old iPhone at the time, an iPhone phone, I want to say 8. And I don't even think it was, I think it might have been 720p, or it was grainy. So there was no lighting. I have done so much research on lighting and how to light up a room and how to light up yourself since the time that I made that first video. It was horrible, but it worked, because it was my face. I was holding on my camera. I think I was moving like this. So the background was moving. Things were fuzzy. There were dark shadows on my face, but it worked because it was me, and it made me come across as more personable. I tried to speak very clearly, not stumble over words. So it did take me a couple takes to say what I wanted to say. Um, yeah, if you come across as personable, you're more apt to get people who want to work with you, and that will help. So those are some quick tips. I've got more, but I should probably move on. I hope that helps. Oh, views to clicks, you say. So that helps with the clicks. Clicks to orders. So once they click, then it's up to the content in your video, in your gig video, and the supporting content in either a PDF attachment you have below your gig, or in the description that you write. You want that to be keyword intensive. You want it to clearly describe what you're offering. Set the boundaries. So if you're editing videos, say you're editing videos up to 2 minutes or up to 5 minutes, or um, set your delivery time, set your pricing, and all those sorts of things. That will help on the orders front. Also, answering questions. If people have questions, make it clear in your description that you will answer any questions that they have, and encourage people to message you. I encourage people to message me before they even place an order. I would much rather get a message from somebody out of the blue than an order out of the blue, believe it or not. A lot of times, orders out of the blue, um, they haven't read completely through my description, and they're expecting something that's a little different than what I was offering. Whereas they may want some special customized things that I charge more for. So I would much rather get a message first. So encourage people to message you instead of just order blindly. So another tip. Hope that helps. Um, Let me see. Power Apps Tutorial says, I'm like you. I like to really edit my footage. Also, I don't always think well on my feet, but the 2 or 3 streams I have gone pretty well and get a decent amount of views. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to, are you confident in talking about what you want to talk about, if that makes sense? So I'm talking about Camtasia and Fiverr and online businesses, streaming, YouTube, those sorts of things. And I'm getting more and more confident in talking about it. And the more confident I get, the more the more easily I can talk about it. But um, yeah, I definitely am like you. If you're like me, really like to edit my footage that I put up on video, uh, put into the YouTube algorithm, because I want, kind of wanting to keep that retention rate high. You want to keep people watching your video for as long as possible, and to do that, sometimes you need to really tighten up your message. Um, and if you're not a good salesperson type speaker that can speak really, really fast about anything and everything without so much as stopping to breathe, then editing your videos before you upload them is definitely the way to go. uh, Maynard Mariquin says, from Camtasia. Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the assets. So yeah, when I went through this here, showed you how to use a motion background like this behind a video. I took it from Storyblocks, but you can definitely take motion backgrounds from Camtasia as well. I think they have some free ones as well as a paid service for more of them, and I think more complex looking ones. So, yeah, no matter where you get your assets from, what I went through here probably a half an hour ago or so is how you handle motion backgrounds. Just import them in, put them underneath the video that you want to show on top of the motion background, and edit it accordingly. Um, Pamela Powers, hello Pam, says, I heard at TechSmith that S for split on PC is Command T in Mac. Okay, interesting. Um, yeah, I don't have a Mac, so I'm not. I try to include both. Generally, or Control a lot of times on a PC is uh, Command on a Mac, I guess. So, um, yeah, I'm not. What am I trying to do here? There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. But if that's the case, then great. Command T on a Mac. Um, I love the shortcuts, and you can change shortcuts in Camtasia too. I'm not sure if people are aware of that, but if you go up to your edit and then preferences, there's a here. Let me just share my screen really quickly. If you come up here to edit and then go to preferences at the bottom, the fourth tab over is shortcuts. And there you go. So there's some animation and effects. There's canvas options, program options, all of these. And I believe you can click on them and change them if you want. I'm not going to change any of mine. I've never entered custom ones. But yeah, that's where they are. And that's how you modify them if you want to. So that's probably, I'm assuming that would be on a Mac as well. If you go to edit and preferences, you should be able to find your shortcuts there. So hope that helps. Office Mystic says to Power Apps Tutorial, I was going to attend your streaming last weekend, but that was the first t-shirt worthy weekend in Chicago. Understand, if it's t-shirt worthy, it's time to get outside. We're still waiting for some good weather up here in Nova Scotia. Can you talk about scripts versus bullet points versus ad libbing? Mark Warner. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the live stream. I think this is your first comment, so welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Says, I recorded my first YouTube video the other day. I read from a script that was immediately below my camera lens. Okay. Yes. So I've gone back and forth with this. As you say, there are several ways you can do this. Reading from a script that is directly below your camera lens can be problematic depending on how far away your camera is from you. Okay. My camera is only about 2 feet. 2 feet away from me, because I have a prime lens that's, I think it's 16 millimeter, or is it 18? I always get them confused. Yeah, no, this lens over here on this camera right here is a 16 to 50 millimeter, because it zooms. It's the kit lens, but this one up here is a prime lens that is set at a fixed 18 mils, and that's what allows it to be close to me, and then me in focus, and then behind me is blurry. It's not that far behind. I think the room's only 9 by 9, or 9.5 by 9.5. But anyways, yeah, if your camera is really close to you, which it has to be if you have a low um, millimeter focal length, is that what it's called? Again, not a photographer. But then if you're reading from a script below your lens, like I would have to be reading here. You would, so my fingers right here, my eyes, what I'm looking at right now is the very top of my screen. So, and it looks like I'm not looking in the camera lens, right? I'm looking below it. Just the same as this camera, as you can see here, this camera has a flip up monitor up above. Now, if you watch my eyes right now, if you watch my eyes right now, I'm looking at the lens. Now I'm looking at my face in the pop-up camera, pop-up viewfinder screen. Okay, so you can tell very clearly that I'm not looking at the lens, and that is what you want to. That's what you want to strive to achieve. You want it to look like you're looking at your audience. Okay, so a couple things you can do. Um, if you have to if you write out a complete script, okay, what you can do is you can either put the script, on a monitor beside your camera, memorize one sentence at a time, and deliver one sentence at a time directly into the camera. Okay. But what you want to do is you memorize it over here, look in the camera, put a smile on your face, start, say it, and then stop, and always look at the camera for a split second afterwards, so that you can kind of, makes the editing much easier. First few times I did this, as I'm finishing a sentence, what I found out when I imported the video is I would trail off, like I would finish my sentence like this. Okay, so that's useless. I need to finish my sentence like this and then look down. Okay, then you can edit it together. So that's one way. Another way is you can use a teleprompter. Actually, I've got one right here. I showed this last week. This is a little device, and I think it's only around $200. Might even be less than that. Um, this one attaches to my camera lens. Okay, see this hole right here? It came with a whole bunch of different sized attachments, ring attachments that go right onto my lens, and this basically sits right on my camera like that. Okay, and then below it, right in this tray, oh, it's focusing on my face. So right in this tray, you put your phone. Okay, and your phone will have a teleprompter app in it. I use teleprompter or smart teleprompt or prompt. I'll have to put a prompt prompt smart. I think it's called. Um, anyways, you load your script into that. You can bring it in to that app from Google Drive or your Google Doc or whatever. Um, and then it will recognize when you're speaking, and it will automatically advance the script as you're talking, and then you can look right at your script, which is right in front of your lens, and the people would not be wouldn't know you're talking into a teleprompter. If you don't have that, if you don't have a teleprompter like that, another idea is to move your camera back. So move your camera way back if you can. If you have a zoom lens or a prime lens with a much higher or longer focal length, then the further away the camera is from you, the less obvious it's going to be when you're not looking directly at the lens. Okay, so if I had a 70 millimeter lens that I put on this, I could put this clear across the room, and my whole face would probably still be right in the camera, and you'd hardly notice that I'm not looking right at the camera because the camera's so far away. Okay, so that's another tip for you. Um, okay, but you say bullet points versus ad libbing. Um, so when I create videos myself, I don't ad lib. I script it out 100%, and I deliver one line at a time. I actually don't use the teleprompter currently. I memorize one line at a time or two lines, and I deliver one like that. For the video tutorial portion of my videos, the part where I'm actually on screen, or demonstrating, uh, I do kind of ad lib that. But if I ever get stuck, I kind of make sure I leave my cursor where it is, uh, figure out what I want to do next, and then I pick it up there, and then I can jump cut that out in the editing phase afterwards. Um, so, but bullet points, this is ultimately where I want to get to. So I'm obviously ad libbing now. Well, I'm answering questions, but I'm not speaking from a script. This is live. So when I speak live, I don't speak as fast as some people say. So I have ums and ahs in it that I would otherwise cut out. But what I'd like to get better at is being able to have bullet points, read a bullet point, and then deliver it live. I think that would come across as more authentic, um, and more personable. So ultimately, that's where I would like to get to, and I think that would be a great way for you to strive towards as well. Um, if you can deliver it kind of quickly. And I think that just takes practice. So until I get there, I'm going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. But eventually, I would like to get to being able to do it with bullet points. If you look closely, it looks like I'm reading a script. Is this okay, or should I try to do point type a bullet type list and wing it? I.e., how to make my delivery look more natural? Any thoughts? Yeah. So yeah, basically what I just said. Uh, if you can do your best to make it not look like you're reading a script, that would be ideal. And I think the best way is a teleprompter. That's if you don't have a teleprompter, then if you can set your camera back further, that would help. Um, Other than that, you just need to put your camera as close to your monitor as you can, and then put your script as close and maybe in the top corner of that. So my camera is above my monitor, so I would put my script in the top corner of my monitor, make the font big so that my eyes aren't drifting very far. Maybe that would work. But the best bet for reading a script definitely is a teleprompter. So one that either hangs off of your camera lens, which is what I have, or you can get the bigger ones that you mount to a tripod and then you mount your camera onto the back of the teleprompter. That's another way that it's done. And those bigger ones allow you to have an iPad, for instance, or something larger, as the screen that sends um, your script up that you can see. So with mine, it's just an iPhone that I put there, so the words aren't huge. You can adjust the words a little bit, and that would help. But yeah, so that's my suggestion there. Um, Mark also says I should also mention that my video was half full, talking head facing the camera, and half with my talking head shrunk down in a corner with Camtasia video and effects occurring on the main screen. Okay, so a lot like my Camtasia quick tip videos, um, where so I have an intro part, talking head, and the outro part, talking head. I usually film those two at the same time, and then once that's done, I film the body of it, which I then shrink myself down into the corner. So yeah, when you're shrunk down into the corner in a little circle mask type deal, um, people aren't going to notice. Well, actually, people are going to expect that if you're demonstrating something on a screen, people aren't going to expect you to be have your eyes right into the lens because your eyes should be on the screen. So I wouldn't worry about that part of it. But when you're doing the talking head parts, a teleprompter I think would definitely help. So those are my 2 cents. Adam, oh my God, I love that tip. Great call out and tip on how to make a thumbnail. The original thumbnail was a random shot in the video. I've just changed it. Thank you. Okay, so this goes back to Fiverr. Um, yeah, and actually I stumbled across when I first put my first video, gig video on Fiverr, I didn't know about that either. So that was one of the things that I stumbled across that would uh, help the video along. So even if you're able to change where it picks your thumbnail from, if you don't have a pre-made image that you're happy with that displays everything you want people to see in the thumbnail, like maybe your title is also in text. I wouldn't overdo it with the text on a thumbnail, but I usually just have a couple words. Like my video tutorials thumbnail says video tutorials. That's it. And a picture of me with my studio. And I think I have some editing software in the background or something. I forget. But yeah, and subtitling, same thing. I say video subtitles or video captions, something like that. Um, so yeah, make an image, put it into your video, either at the beginning or the end, or in the middle if you want. No, that'll kind of break up. Actually, that's the first thing I did. Actually, is I just made sure to have my logos in a place within my video that made sense, that I could then grab that. So that was my first iteration of doing this. But then I said, you know what? Let's just make an image. Let's make a thumbnail and then import it into Camtasia and make it part of the video. So, yep, that is what I do, and I think that helped. So that brings me to the end of the questions. Wow, we're an hour and a half into it, and I haven't gotten through. What do we have here? Still a few people watching here. If you guys want me to continue, feel free to ask any more questions. Other than that, let me just quickly go through my list here, see if there's anything else I wanted to bring up before I close off for the week. Um, so quick tips, my quick tip videos, uh, as you've noticed, as you've probably noticed, I've made, I think we're up to 14 now that I made in the last couple months. That's been my focus. Uh, I think it's time to pivot a little bit and shift focus to the Fiverr side of things, which is the thing that actually keeps me the most busy. Um, I use Camtasia every day with Fiverr, but Fiverr itself is what allows me to use Camtasia to earn my living, if that makes sense. So I think there's a lot of, judging by the requests that I'm getting for the book, there's a lot of interest in how to help people get a better experience with Fiverr, how to help people increase the number of orders that they get, and the size of the orders that they get, and the number of clicks that they get through their Fiverr gigs, and so that they can ultimately make a full-time income with Fiverr. Um, just a couple of quick things. I wrote down a couple of things just to kind of a couple of questions about Fiverr. So some people, a common misconception about Fiverr is that you can't make a lot of money. Number two, it's oversaturated. There's not enough space for any new sellers. Number three, it's old. You know, if it's too late, if you didn't start in 2015 or 2016 or 2017, then you've missed the boat. You can't start now. All of those are 100% completely false. Um, when Fiverr started, it was a place to sell services for $5. Also, it was a place to buy services for $5. Okay. And Fiverr puts buyers and sellers together and they take a cut. So for sellers, if you're selling something for $5, you actually will only get $4 because Fiverr keeps a dollar. For buyers, if you're buying something for $5, you have to pay a little more than that. Um, and as I'm not near as much of a buyer as I am a seller, I can't remember exactly what it is right now. I want to say it's a $2 fee, so $7 to buy a $5 gig. So Fiverr, the company, is making a profit on both sides, on the buyer and the seller, um, and on the seller. So when I say $1 out of every five, that's a percentage. It's 20% throughout. If I sell a multi video tutorial package for $1,000, Fiverr will make $200 from that, and I get 800. So it seems like a lot, but Fiverr does all of the back end work for me. They do all my marketing. I just have to learn how to use Fiverr's algorithm and how to position myself on the platform and position my gigs so that they get seen by people who need my services, and so that I explain my services properly enough so that they order from me. So that's all I have to do. I don't have to market. I don't have to buy advertising. There's ways you can promote your gigs within Fiverr once you have a certain number of sales, but honestly, I've only recently started doing a little bit of that. I have not. That has not been uh, a major part of my strategy at all. It's mostly been making sure my gigs are ranked properly. Be keyword specific, gig video, and profile picture. Put your face in your profile picture. Don't use a cartoon or don't use a company logo, a face. Even if you're a big company, maybe you have 10 employees. Maybe you're not the CEO, but you're a couple rungs down the ladder of a larger company. Don't put your company logo in there. Is my suggestion. I would still put my face in there because people buy from people. Basically, they don't necessarily buy from businesses in this freelance world, anyways. So that's another suggestion. Um, yeah. So misconceptions with Fiverr that you can't that you're too late, can't make enough money, and that you can only charge $5. It's all wrong. I wrote down a couple things for you before I sign off here. I just want to give you a couple of stats that I quickly looked up. Um, First of all, for myself, when I first started that first year in 2019, I averaged throughout the whole year $35 per order. Okay. So even though I was offered, my starting price was $5, I still averaged 34, it was $34 per order throughout the whole year. Okay. So, um, now for me, subtitling was the biggest one at the time. So I would offer that for $5 to subtitle a video up to 5 minutes, but they had to provide me with the transcript. I think when I started, they did not have, the clients did not have to provide that. I would transcribe it as well within $5. That's a lot of work, I know, but that's how I got my foot in the door. And then eventually I moved to, okay, $5 for me to add the subtitles. Uh, if you provide the transcript. If the client does not have the transcript, they need me to transcribe it. That would double the price to 10. I have since increased both those numbers to $10 or 20. As the number of ratings come in, that allows me to do that. And in addition, there's other things you can do. You can offer, you can offer a rush service. I usually when I give a quote, I give three prices every time. I'll give a 5-day standard delivery price, a 24-hour rush delivery price, and if I can, 1 to 2 hour super rush, next in line delivery price. So a $20 order could be 20 or 40 or 60, depending on how fast they want it. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people will pay. A lot of people need to pay to have it done right away. And if you're available right away, which not everybody is, then that'll help you get the job as well. So right off the bat, a $20 order could quickly turn into 60, right? So that'll help your average. Also, I get a lot of people coming to me saying, "Oh yeah, no, $20 to subtitle and transcribe and subtitle a video." Well, I have my video is 2 hours long. Okay, well that increases the price. Or I have 15 videos that are all 15 minutes long each. That's a big job. Maybe they don't have the videos to send me. Maybe they're on YouTube and they need me to download them first. Okay, well that's extra. I can give a custom quote for that. So these are the reasons why I like people to contact me first, because then I can give a custom quote. If I'm going to say 80% of the work that I get through Fiverr are through custom quotes that I set up in the messaging system. It's not people that order directly from my gigs. So it's people that message first. I answer right away. I have the Fiverr app on my phone so that, that first year, I would basically take my phone to bed with me. And if I heard it ding, if I wasn't totally asleep, I'd pick it up and I'd answer. So a lot of times I might just say something like, "I'm out of my office. I'll get back to you, you know, first thing in the morning." But at least that helps me with my message. The time it takes me to answer a message. You want that average to stay as low as possible too. So that helped with that as well. So, anyways, those are some more tips and tricks with that. So, yeah, first year I averaged $34 per order. My second year, $61 per order. In 2021, which was my third full year, my average order was $122 per order. Average. So that's anywhere from $5 to, oh gosh, several thousand. I want to say it was north of $4,000, the largest single order that I got. And I had 2 weeks to deliver it or something like that. So um, that would be a large, and that was a subtitle job. That was not a video tutorial job. You'd be amazed at how many people need subtitles done. Um, because yes, there are automated ways to do it out there, but you know what? They're not very good. um, if the speaking is so clear, very clear, then the automated services like Rev.com has an automated service or a paid service. Um, if your audio is very clear, then it'll do a good job. But if it's not, then it's going to make a lot of mistakes. And even if it is clear, it's going to make a lot of grammatical mistakes. So there's a surprising number of people that are not very good at grammar out there. And if you know English, if you're good at grammar, and not just English, I mean, you could put a gig up there for transcribing and subtitling in French or Spanish or whatever other language. English is my main language. I know a little bit of French, but mostly 99% English, 99.9% English. Um, and I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of work being offered or being needed to be done on Fiverr is in English. So that's why I mentioned English. If your command of the English language is really good, and your grammar is spot on, there's a demand for you to be subtitling or copywriting or blogging or writing sales emails. All those sorts of things are in high demand on Fiverr. And if I can just leave you with a couple of other quick stats, because I've watched videos of people describing how much they've made, okay, on Fiverr. I'm not about to do that yet. I haven't done that. I still haven't wrapped my head around wanting to share that with people. A little more private, I guess. I may eventually, but as of right now, I haven't done that. But I can tell you some people who have. So there's an example of one copywriter who makes $38,000 a month. Okay, let that sink in. $38,000 a month on Fiverr. Now, Fiverr takes 20% of that, right? So 38 times 0.8, they're still bringing in $30,000 a month. That's pretty damn good for copywriting. Okay. So to do that, you need to be a good copywriter. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't mean to say copywriting is easy. It's not. I don't offer it. Um, I think I'm good with English and grammar and whatnot, but I don't consider myself a copywriter. So subtitling to me is a whole lot easier. Um, so yeah, $38,000 copywriter. Another one, $15,000 a month copywriting. $15,000 a month. Somebody else is making doing voiceovers. So they're just speaking. That's it. Just doing audio files. And then once you get a main gig and once you start making money from one gig, you don't stop there. Branch out. So there's one. Actually, I'll mention the name. Joel Young is a top-rated seller on Fiverr. I've never spoken to him before, but I've watched his videos, and I read an art. I think he was one of the first articles that I read on Forbes.com. Um, excuse me. That talked about his success, and he started years ago. Excuse me, and he started by. I don't remember if it was started by voice or started by making animated doodly type explainer videos for people. Um, Whichever one he started with, I don't remember, but he then added the other. So I think he started with his voice. He offered voice services. Um, so that could be I don't remember exactly what he does, but voicing explainer videos or voicing audiobooks or voicing any other types of videos or ads or things like that. There's a big demand for that. And for voiceover work, you don't have to put your face on camera if you're the type of person who doesn't want to do that, right? If you just want to, if you have a good, clear speaking voice and you have the ability to treat your room and remove noise and have a good microphone, then you can record your voice. And there is a demand for all types of voices, children, kids' voices, or if you have um, a voice, a character voice. If you can do character voices yourself, there's demand for that. Or, young adults, male, female, middle-aged adults, seniors. It doesn't matter. It goes right through the gamut. Low, deep voices, fast talkers, any type of voice, naturally speaking voices. People need voices like this, and they're more and more going to places like Fiverr to find them. So that to me is huge. And as long as you get your foot in the door with that, then you can branch out, right? You can, start offering to make these little video tutorials or with Camtasia, or there's other, um, well, what's it called now? There was a program called Go Animate that I believe is called Vyond or Vyond, Vyond now, that allows you to make videos that are more animated type, that you can add a voiceover to. So you can add that to your services. Maybe you don't just add offer voiceover, but you offer voiceover and videos. So I think that's what he ended up doing. And I think the headline was he made at the writing of that article, which it's several years ago now, but he had made over $1 million on Fiverr. Okay. Over $1 million on Fiverr. On a platform that advertises you can buy and sell stuff for $5. Okay. So that should tell you right there. Um, another person editing resumes has made over $500,000 on Fiverr. I think that was over a 3-year period. So that's over $100,000 a year. That's insane. Um, Anyways, just food for thought. That'll give you some ideas as to what the ceiling is, and that might not even be the ceiling. Lots of potential, lots of untapped potential. Lots of people I see on Fiverr doing things not the right way. I see that they could be doing a whole lot better. Um, and all that means is there's opportunity to step in there, do it better, and start taking some business from them. And more people are buying services from Fiverr, right? As more and more people are offering it on Fiverr, there's more and more people buying it on Fiverr as well. So whether that's videos, video tutorials, subtitling, making websites, coding, drawing, logo design. I mean, there's so many things. So many things. Okay, I think I spoke a lot about that. Don Davis, welcome, Don. Thank you for joining the live stream. Looking forward to see how how to use Fiverr. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. That'll motivate me to get off my butt and start making these videos that I want to make on Fiverr. How to see what type of videos you see of Fiverr. How to see what type of video you see on Fiverr. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But you have another comment here. Let me just bring that up. How do they send you the videos? Oh, so when I'm uh, okay, I use Google Drive. Well, there's two ways. If a client is sending me a video that they want me to add subtitles to or edit in any other way, like maybe edit it into a social media video, um, the first way they would typically try is they send it through Fiverr. So through the chat system, they'll click the paperclip icon at the bottom and attach a video to the message, send it to me that way, and then I can download it and then I have it. Um, or when they place an order, they can send their when they submit their requirements, and for my requirements for a subtitle job, I need them to send me the video and sometimes send me the transcript if I'm not transcribing it. So they can send it through there. Or if the file is Fiverr says if the file's over 1 GB, you can send files up to 1 GB in size. Um, but I have had trouble with that. I've noticed that once you get up much more than 400 or 500 megabytes in size, sometimes the files won't send through. So for larger files, I use Google Drive. So if they can't send me a file through the messaging system, I will suggest that they either upload it to Google Drive or Dropbox, and then paste a download link for me in the Fiverr message board. Or if they don't have Google Drive or Dropbox, or there's a number of other ones, iCloud, I think, and Box is another one. If they don't have an online storage service, they can use something called WeTransfer. So WeTransfer.com, one word, um, allows you to send for free up to 2 gigabytes of files by email. So you send it from an email address to an email address, and then the download link gets emailed to the other person. Now, with Fiverr, you're not supposed to share your emails at all. So any communication that starts in Fiverr is supposed to remain in Fiverr. So I'm not permitted to ask for email addresses unless it's needed for the creation of whatever I'm creating for the client. But still, I don't like to mess around with that. I like to keep the people at Fiverr happy. So if I can find a way to not share my email address, I do that on Fiverr. So what I suggest to them is use WeTransfer to email it to themselves. Okay. When they get the download link in their own email, copy that and then paste it to me in the message box in Fiverr. So that's how they use WeTransfer to send me files. When I send files back, all edited, subtitles added, or whatever, I'm delivering a job back to my client. Um, Again, if it's under 300 or 400 megabytes, I will just attach it to the order in Fiverr and send it through Fiverr, and like that. If it's a larger file, then I upload it to my Google Drive, and then I right click the file, I click get link, I activate that link so that it's available to anybody with the link, so that we don't have to, add permissions and an email address and all that. And then I paste that link in my delivery message to them. Say, here's your video, go here to download it from my Google Drive. So that's what I do it. And I use I'm on I'm on Google's 200 gigabyte plan, which and I typically tell my clients I'll leave the files up there for up to 7 days, and then I just kind of that keeps me below the 200 gigabyte limit. So far, it has, anyways. So yeah, I think. Oh, Don says I can answer next week. Well, I answered this week, but I do plan on coming out with more content about Fiverr soon. As I said, like hopefully this week. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully. I'm not as busy with Fiverr. It's good to be busy. That's what pays the bills, right? So that's what happened last week. Got really busy with Fiverr, and I've still got a few things to finish up. And orders still come in. So I'm always managing that. But this last week was absolutely insane, working 16-hour days to get everything done that people wanted done. And I wasn't able to make any YouTube videos. So hopefully I can make one this week, one or two, and it'll be on Fiverr. Um, so with that said, I believe I'm going to sign off. It's been almost 2 hours today, so another successful live stream. Thank you again for all your questions. Really appreciate it. I plan to be back next Thursday. Um, let me just see. Just had one other one come in. Greetings from Sandy. Oh, it's not. Here we go. Tony Kvarik. Tony Kvarik. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Thanks for stopping by. Says, greetings from San Diego. Great job growing your skills and channel over the last year or so. Keep it up. Thank you, Tony. Really appreciate that. It's fun. And it does, with practice, I do feel like I'm getting better. So hopefully I am. And I will continue to share what I learn as I learn it on these live streams and in my videos. So again, watch for hopefully one video this week before next Thursday's live stream. And with that said, I will see you next week. Thanks again and see you soon. Bye.